Are you planning on buying a home, but you're really unsure how you're gonna pay to have representation? Well, I got you covered. Today I'm gonna dive into the 3 unique ways that you as a buyer can pay to have an agent represent you. And each of these, they have their own perks, but there's one in particular that is a complete game changer, and I believe it's gonna be the most commonly used method to pay to have representation. What's up, guys? Anthony Esposito with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert right here in the Cleveland, Ohio area. I've helped countless people navigate this real estate market, and I've helped guide them with questions they have with this whole new era that is coming our way. If you need help as well with buying, selling, or you have a question, contact me directly here or go in the description below, click on my calendar link and book a call with me. I'd love to help you out like I have many others. At some point throughout the video, if you get any value from this, be sure to smash the like button. It's greatly appreciated. So let's dive into these 3 unique ways that you can get representation and be able to pay for that representation. So before we get into number 1, some of you may already be in the new era legally. Others, we're getting there. Like for instance, in Northeast Ohio here, ours gets implemented next Monday, August 12th. It goes into effect. We need to have a buyer's agreement in place in order to show you a house. Some other places have already been doing it, but it's coming our way here in Northeast Ohio. So for the first method that you can pay for representation, it's a simple one. It's you as a buyer, you directly pay your agent. Technically the brokerage gets paid, not like really the agent, but you pay for your representation. That's money out of your pocket of whatever you agreed upon, you know, whatever that number is, whatever the percentage is, what you agreed upon, you pay that out of pocket. And you don't have to end up asking, you know, seller for anything. You don't have to wonder where it's coming from. It's coming directly from you. Personally, I think that's going to be good for some, but I think there's a lot of buyers that are out there that, you know, with the cost of homes and, you know, the way the economy has gone, I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time paying for that representation. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, the numbers as they come out, because it's going to take a good, you know, year, I think, before we get like hard data, because it is August. The slow up is coming. You know, winter is only a few months away, unfortunately. So it's going to be interesting to see how many people are actually paying for their agents directly out of pocket versus the other 2 methods. The next method I want to talk about is the seller paying for your buying agent, the buying brokerage. Now, it's kind of the same in a sense of what it always has been of the old days, where there is buyer agency compensation that's built into essentially someone selling a house. So a certain percentage, a certain dollar amount, whatever was agreed upon by the seller and, you know, what they decided when they list it with their listing agent, that money went towards the buyer agency compensation. So that went towards the buying brokerage who was representing you to purchase that house. So it was coming out of the seller's net. So that is the second way that's going to be happening. And honestly, let me know in the comments, you know, out of those 2 ways of if you think, you know, it's going to go one way or the other. I don't know, you know, obviously what's going to happen. It's again, I'm waiting to see, you know, the numbers come out eventually. As it does, obviously there's going to be sellers that are going to, you know, say, I'm not paying anything. There's probably going to be sellers out there that are going to say that they will pay that compensation. So it's going to be interesting to see these numbers as they come out. But that is another way for you to have buyer agency, you know, representation. So you're not going in this blindly. You don't have to hire a lawyer. You don't have to draw up a contract or rely on the list agent to write up a contract and you go in as an unrepresented buyer. That's another thing that we're projecting to see, and the DOJ is projecting it as well because it's in the listing contracts of things. If there is an unrepresented buyer, that is addressed. Just remember, if you're unrepresented, pay a lawyer to look at everything, because it allows us as list agents to, write up a contract basically and say, okay, here you go, sign it, but we don't represent you as an agent. And with this being the biggest investment that you're going to make, obviously, unless you're like Elon Musk where you could purchase Twitter, but for the majority of people out there, it's the biggest investment you're going to make. Not having representation, it may be good for you, but it may not. I personally would use representation just because of having that person to kind of, guide me, to advise me, that, understands the contracts. But that's another thing, let me know in the comments down below if you're going to try to do it alone, kind of like a for sale by owner. If you're going to go that route of being unrepresented, are you going to use a lawyer, or are you just going to, try to attempt it on your own? I'm really curious, and I'm kind of excited to see what's going to come about as we get into this and really see the numbers that are going to be out there. Now, like I said earlier in the intro, the game changer one. This is going to end up being the most commonly used one, I feel, when it comes down to paying for representation, because it can kind of open up a few different avenues. And I say that because as buyer agency agreements that are out there, whatever dollar amount or whatever percentage you agree on with your agent buying a home, us as agents, we can not make any more than what is in that agreement. So if there's offers from the selling side of, a higher amount, we cannot change that to get that higher amount. We only get paid at the maximum of what is in the agreement. But we can take less as an inducement. So if our amount is higher, there is the potential for us to take less to kind of balance it out if there's offers that are on the table, or to just help you out as clients, because at the end of the day, that is our job, is to help people buy and sell real estate while advising them and, going above and beyond. That's our job, but it boils down to helping people buy and sell real estate. With this third one, the way you can pay for representation is seller concessions to you as a buyer. And I think this is going to be the most common method that is going to be used personally. From clients I'm talking to that are asking me questions, they're already saying that that's what they would end up doing, is offering up concessions. Now, the concessions can go towards, that buyer agency fee that you have an agreement on. It can go towards closing costs, prepaids. There's different avenues that it can cover. Now, if they're, giving you a specific amount with concessions, and let's say you have the money in, your pocket basically to pay for your buyer agency compensation to be represented by an agent, you would be able to use those concessions towards other avenues. So that's why I say I think that's going to be the most commonly used one that's out there. I could be wrong, but let me know what you think and how you would go about it. Me personally, as a buyer, I would try to obviously, get the most help that I can possibly get. At the end of the day, that's basically how it goes. You're going to purchase a house for the price that you feel it's worth. You want to get it for, the least amount possible. And you want to be able to, negotiate and have certain things in that negotiation to benefit you as a buyer. As a seller, obviously, you're going to sell it for the most money and try to net the most money. It's always going to be that way. So as a buyer, I think concessions are going to be the best practical way. Personally, this is my opinion. This is how I feel. There's no facts to back this. There is no numbers out there to back this of what's going to happen. But I personally think that is going to be the best approach to take. Now, I can't tell you what it's going to do one way or the other with the sales, the contracts, all that type of stuff. Nobody knows. There's nothing out there. I don't think it's necessarily going to hurt you. I don't think it's necessarily going to help you currently, because I honestly just don't know. So these are just my opinions on things, but I feel we're going to see more buyer concessions in place, or buyers just paying directly out of pocket to have that representation. But drop a comment down below. Let me know how you feel about this whole situation. Let me know, what avenue you would end up taking. And also let me know, how do you truly feel about, this huge change that's coming, that's splitting the buyers on this side and the sellers on that side. And it's, both parties have their own agreement. I personally think it's a great thing that buyers have their agreement in place, just like sellers have their agreement in place. However, it's going to be a little chaotic for a little bit. So at least be prepared for that. It's coming, and it's coming fast. It's hitting, like I said, it's hitting us next week, August 12th, Northeast Ohio. Buyer agency agreements are implemented in place legally, needs to happen before us as agents can show you a house. If you got any value out of this video, smash the like button. It's greatly appreciated. Don't forget, click subscribe, turn notifications on so you can stay up to date on all real estate tips, tricks, insights, property tours, you name it. I have it coming your way. And if you want to know more information about the NAR settlement, check out the video next to me. It's got some great information in there, and there's a lot of clarity to kind of help you out and get you ready for this new era that's coming to Northeast Ohio. Catch you on the next video.